What's up, guys? Welcome back to Breakout Trading. Today is Monday, May 18th, and I'm going to be going over the trades I made today. So, we traded 3 stocks today. Today was a bit of a slow day in the overall markets. Wasn't really much like crazy runners. There wasn't really that one stock that like shoots to the moon or anything, so it was kind of just a bit slower anyways. So, yeah, the ones we had on watch were we were watching SRNE. This one here was one of the top ones that I was watching, but it just kind of ended up selling off all day on the open. It's kind of hard to see because of the small chart, but this is basically what it did all day. So it gapped up and then pretty much hung out under VWAP all day and just sold off. I had this trend line marked out because I thought maybe if we broke that, there'd be like a bit of a pump, maybe up to this 760 area. But we broke it, went back, and then just kind of faded all day. So that was a no-go. Oops, I don't want to remove all trend lines. Let's just keep that one. Yeah, we can remove them all. Yeah, so that was SRNE. Oh yeah, and I guess it was a big runner on Friday too. That's one of the reasons. I didn't actually trade Friday. I actually slept in, which isn't cool. Definitely not going to do that again. But yeah, so we didn't really trade that one at all. IBIO, this one was a bit of a gap up too. I think this was on some of the pre-market scanners that everyone was looking at. But this one was pretty good throughout the day. I didn't actually take any trades on it. It had this really nice like ascending triangle formation that started to form, and then obviously we had a nice breakout to the upside here, which I didn't actually end up taking because I didn't think it would go that high, but there it goes. And it had kind of a weak volume too. I guess it's a nice volume pump. Yeah, so looking back, obviously hindsight's always 20/20. It was a pretty nice trade, and then you can see that as soon as it broke this this upwards trend line, it failed to rally anymore throughout the day. Yeah, so that was IBIO. And then we did trade on Mark and we did trade on YCBD, but first, before I go over those, I will go over my trade on KTOV. So this was a really cheap stock. I usually don't like trading these ones because it's like really high in commissions to get like enough shares, but I just did today because there wasn't much, and I thought I saw a pretty good setup on it. So you can see here that we didn't really have that big of a gap up, but it started to get some pretty nice volume here at the open. And basically my strategy for this one was had some resistance at the pre-market highs here all along this area. It tried to break past on the open, got rejected, but then we had a nice 9 EMA trade line VWAP crossover, and then the volume came pouring in, had a really nice run up. Marked off the high there at 67.5 cents, and then it pulled back to VWAP, and I tried to go for a little bounce along there and just ended up getting stopped out right below VWAP. And then it kind of bounced back, and then I was like, maybe I can get back in this, and then it kind of just started trending downwards all day. It lost all momentum and volume. So this one was a loss of 617. So I was trading only 200 shares today for every single one because I wanted to reduce my position size a bunch this week, because my goal this week is to just be consistently green every single day, no matter how much that is. And since I'm still kind of getting the hang of this whole trading thing, it's a lot easier to manage my emotions and follow my strategy and think clearly and be calm when I'm trading when I'm using a lot smaller position size. So the reason I chose 200 shares is because 200 shares is the minimum Interactive Brokers, the minimum that you can use to be charged $1 for commissions. So it seemed like a good amount. It equates to like roughly maybe like 3, 4, 5, 600 bucks depending on the stock. So obviously higher price stocks are going to be bigger costs, so I'll have to adjust accordingly. Obviously I'm not going to take 200 shares of like a $20 stock or something. But yeah, it worked really good today, just having cheap commissions and just keep on like grinding out these little tiny wins, because That's how I'm going to grow my account, is just these little wins over and over and over. Just I want to get really good at consistency. I want that to be my #1 thing. So it's a great way to start the Monday. I already knew it was a slow day today, kind of coming in. There wasn't much on the gap scanner. Used only 200 shares, and we ended up recovering this loss really quickly, and partly because I think I wasn't emotional at all. If this was a $20, $30, $40, $50 loss, I would have been a bit more emotional, and then I would have had to take bigger share size here, might have not done the same thing I did, and yeah. Although my execution wasn't perfect today, it was pretty good. You can see, had two nice really nice trades, and obviously this one was a really good stop out to just cut it loose right away under VWAP, and that also is easier with smaller position size. So this one here, what actually was this on the daily? So you can see this one had some resistance here at the 200 EMA, but it's having some nice volume on the daily, and it's really starting to curl up here. So the next one we traded was YCBD. So this one had a really nice setup actually. This was one of the ones on the pre-market scanner. Where are we going here? So this is pre-market. It gapped up a whole bunch, sold off, was below VWAP pretty much all the way until the open. You can see the opens right here, and it continued to sell off on the open, getting rejected by VWAP. So this one was kind of just a dud at first, and then you can see right at about 10.15, 10.20, it starts to curl up and then starts to squeeze out all those shorts as it breaks above VWAP, and this is kind of what caught everyone's attention. So the reason I took this trade here was because I saw it squeezing up. I didn't chase it at all. I let it have a nice healthy pullback, and my plan was to buy anywhere around VWAP and just have my stop loss underneath this 140 support area. And you can see that we came down. My stop loss was at 138, I think. Let me make sure that's what it was. Yeah, 138 right here. You can see it's pretty tiny, but yeah, one right here, 138, and I ended up canceling it because this was obviously a winner. So again, this is the issue I continually have, is that I always sell my winners too early because I just like locking in profits, but that really limits your upside potential. So one of the strategies I'm going to start to implement is tiering in and tiering out of positions. So that means you take a starter position, then take a bulk, and then maybe add a bit onto that. So you have 3 tiers on the entry, and then as the stock hits your targets, you can sort of tier out. So this could have been a tier 1 exit, and then I could have held half or a piece of my position for the pump above. It's nice to have that flexibility rather than just be out all at once. And you can see that even right after I sold here at 150 for only about a 4-cent gain, this thing ended up ripping up like another 13 cents. So just something to think about for the rest of the week, is maybe instead of forcing myself to hold those positions longer, it's good to take profits, but maybe tier out. Obviously I'd have to pay a bit more in commissions or take a bigger size than the 200 shares, because 200 shares is only $1. But that's something to think about, maybe even for the future once I start taking a bit bigger position sizes. So then you can see this formed into a really nice triangle here, and unfortunately I had no more trades on this. It's really disappointing. I saw this here, mapped this one out, and I was going to buy when it got above 156 on a pullback. That's what I had written in my book. The reason I didn't was because I was on the phone with PayPal, and I decided to just close this down while I was on the phone so I wasn't distracted, and of course it breaks right over 160. I would have probably bought somewhere around 158, 159 for the pullback. Probably would have my stop loss below VWAP. And you can see it forms a bit of a bull flag once again. before further breaking out to the upside. So this one was actually really nice today. That is a fantastic looking breakout. So let's remove all of these. For, I don't really like cluttered charts, so we'll just get rid of all those. So yeah, that was the second trade of the day, and that yielded me 878. So that was pretty nice, made up for that loss. And then I saw one more little opportunity on Mark. So this one actually wasn't like a gapper or anything. It was just trading really low volume all day, and then right here at 12 o'clock, it got some news. I don't think that was the news I saw. Oh yeah, so they just had a price target. Oh wait, this isn't Mark. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's why I'm so messed up. Here it is. Okay, sorry. Yeah, so they had, it was a pretty weak headline. Remark Media shares spike after company shares image of IR camera setup in LA Mall. So I'm not really too sure what that's all about. Yeah, so like pretty weak headline if you ask me. Like, so what? They Remark Holdings getting LA ready. So I guess they have some sort of heat sensor aimed at the elevators. So yeah, that's why I kind of just hopped out of this one pretty quick, because I saw that it was pumping up here really suddenly, and luckily I was in the chat room and some of the other people were noticing it within the first couple minutes. Obviously we didn't get the first couple minutes, but pretty close. So this is the 1 minute chart here. You can see it wasn't doing anything all day, and then all of a sudden we have this nice big volume bars for almost 1 million shares out of nowhere. So obviously something like this you don't want to chase. You want to wait until it puts in a top, right there at 161, pulls back, and then in this case I could have entered here, but I wasn't really sure about that news update. It looked pretty weak, so I waited, and then I ended up just buying a breakout of that 161 high. Got filled a little bit high on that. Looks like I got filled at 63. Yeah, so filled at 63, so a little high.
Market data connection lost.
Oh, that's annoying. Just ignore that. And then I ended up just selling it for a 3-cent gain at 66 for only about $5 minus commissions. So yeah, that's pretty much it today. It was a pretty chill day. One of the good things that happened is that, and I felt really calm today. I feel like I'm finally really getting the hang of this. I'm getting good at just being calm and picking my spots really well. I finally have a Trader Workstation laid out into a way that I really like, so it's easy for me to see the stuff I want to see. And yeah, I'm just really content right now in my trading. I've joined a TTG, which is a fantastic investment. I'm taking all those courses. That's part of the tiering in and tiering out, and yeah, I'm just kind of gonna take it easy. Like, the best way for me to trade, I think, is to just be calm and let these setups come to me and not stress, not like trade with any emotion, just be totally chill, and that really helps my performance. So yeah, pretty good day. I honestly can't complain. The executions were there. I never had a single trade that was in the red P&L and then like I added, or then it like went back and I was like, oh my god, like maybe I won't lose or something. The only trade I had that was a loser was KTOV. It was extremely controlled. I always, before I enter a trade, determine how much I'm going to buy, where my profit target is, and where my stop loss is. 9 times out of 10 my stop loss is going to be right below VWAP, because you can see in this case it breaks below, and it had this big dump, and usually they just keep going if they break the VWAP, whereas in YCBD you can see that rhymes. You can see here that having a stop loss below VWAP was extremely beneficial. So for instance, when I entered a bit high here, because I thought this was going to bounce a little more quickly, I could have been more patient or even added down here. But yeah, my stop loss was at 38, so right below VWAP. That's a fantastic place. The more I trade, the more I realize how powerful VWAP is. It is an extremely powerful tool. So if you're not trading with VWAP or volume, you're flying blind. VWAP, volume, level 2, time and sales. That's all you need. Yeah, so that's it. I will definitely be back tomorrow. Hopefully gonna make a bit more than $8, but once again, my number one thing that I focus on is my execution, my setups, my attitude, and once all those things kind of align together, then the gains will naturally come. And today those things were aligned and the gains weren't much, but I was also using extremely small position size. So yeah, I'll probably use the same size tomorrow. I want to see if I can bank another $8-10 tomorrow. I'll be pretty happy. It's all about that consistency right now. So guys, that's all for me. First day of the week's green. Off to a great start. Good luck trading. Adios.